All right. Hello and welcome back to Tom Q's Tech Tips. Today we are talking about what must be one of my favorite subjects because I've been talking about it a lot for the last year, and that is using an iPhone and a DJI OM to be able to pan, tilt, and zoom remotely with Clean HDMI out into a hardware switcher. So you're going to need a couple of things, and the first and foremost, you're going to need a product called Switcher Studio that is a whopping $25 a week. So that would pretty much rule me out price-wise, except that I only need this to work for me 1 week out of the year. So I'm willing to invest $25 in that. I'm really hoping that someone will step up to the plate and offer something that's a little bit more affordable. Switcher Studio is actually a complete switching platform that would take the place of something like the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO that I'm using today. So that's why they charge that much and let you use iPhones and iPads as your switching platform. But anyway, all I'm using it for is panning and tilting, and that's it. Now, it does not have Clean HDMI out, so for the third thing, the zooming and the controlling of your exposure and focus and things like that, you're going to need something else. And that would be either Filmic Pro or Movie Pro and their companion apps, which is going to run you a set price or a one-time price of $24.98 for Filmic Pro or $9.99 for Movie Pro. So $9.99 gets you Movie Pro, and their remote app is free. So one of those two. If you've already got Filmic Pro, you can do that. But you're also going to need something else. So this is the part that's new from my last video, and I'm going to go ahead and get my face off the screen for a sec. And so with Switcher Studio is the one that is controlling the OM, the gimbal. But the interesting thing is that you don't have to have the phone in the gimbal to control it. So in my situation, I have the 8 Plus in the OM, and I'm using a 5S to trick Switcher Studio into thinking that it is in the OM. So I'm gonna demonstrate that in a minute. So you're gonna need an extra iPhone to control the gimbal. So you're gonna need an iPad to control that fake iPhone or that real iPhone that's not actually in the gimbal. You're also gonna need another iOS device. If you're using Filmic Pro, you're gonna need another iOS device to control the phone that's in the gimbal. For the zooming and the focus and the exposure. And then Movie Pro also does this, and you can use an iPad for that as well. Or they have actually made it possible to use their remote app on an M1 Mac. So in this case, I'm actually using, we'll go ahead and bring my face back in. I'm actually using the Mac to start and stop my stream. I'm using the Mac to switch using Mix Effect, and I'm also using the Mac to zoom in or zoom out and control exposure on the camera in the cradle. So anyway, I think I'm going to just go ahead and zoom over to that shot. So this is a 1080p full frame clean HDMI out iPhone 8 Plus in selfie mode. Now when I'm going to do this in the conference, I'm actually using the camera on the other side of the phone, which is better quality. I tried to do that for this show, and it's just too hard to get it all set up. So I'm using the selfie camera. And here's some panning. Maybe we can go over here and look at my Zoom recorder, and we can come over here and look at another the stuff we're going to be using in a minute. There's the slideshow I've been using running over on that Mac. And so anyway, pan, tilt, and zoom using these products. So how am I doing it? Let's switch over to this view. And here's my iPad that's running Switcher Studio. And here is the phone that Switcher Studio thinks is in the gimbal. So the gimbal's over here with my 8 Plus, which is running Movie Pro. And I'm doing that because I'm using the M1 version of the remote app. And I really do wish that Filmic would check the little box that lets that remote app run on the M1 Mac. I don't think they'd even have to do much work. So anyway, please check the box. So anyway, all I do is put my finger in the preview area here, and it thinks it's moving this phone right here. So basically, in the upper left-hand corner of this app, you go in and it detects the switcher. So I've connected to the OM here, and there's a checkbox. You may not be able to see that because this is actually an iPhone 5S that's actually got a cracked screen, but it's working great for this. So your mileage may vary on that. I've been tinkering with switching products for a long time. So Switcher introduced this feature back in 2017 when the iPhone 5S was a legit phone to run, to be in, to do this. So right now on their website, they say it requires the 6S or higher. Now, when I went to download the app on this phone, it actually offered me to download the older version of Switcher Studio. And so I don't know if this was your first time using Switcher Studio and you go to download the app, if they're going to offer that or not. So I had it in the past, so they offered it to me. So anyway, you might be able to use a 5S. I'm pretty sure you can use a 6S or for sure. So anyway, you just put your finger here and you control it. I'm going to do a quick switch over to this view. So this is my Mac screen where I'm running. Let's see, I could take my view out of there. So this is over here. This is Movie Pro's remote app, which was designed for iOS, but it's actually working on the M1. And so I'm going to bring my face back in there. And so I'm using Mix Effect over here to switch from my different angles and stuff like that. So let me do a quick switch over to where you can see all the angles and everything. So anyway, as I put my finger here, you can clearly see in the upper right and the lower left, you can see the gimbal moving around and how responsive it is. I mean, I just love how smooth that is. And anyway, you might be able to see how I've kind of got the cables looped and they're touching the table down here, so it's kind of relieving some of the weight of the Apple digital AV adapter that gives you the HDMI and the power that's charging my phone. So anyway, that's what's going on there. Do I need to show you the other view? I don't think we've maybe already done that. So that's all it is. So it's really that simple. I think we will just come over here and so again, you're just going to need the extra iPhone, the iPad to control that phone, another iOS device or an M1 Mac to remotely control one of those apps in your gimbal. So I think that's it. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you got any questions or comments, or if you know of any other app in the world that can do the panning and the tilting, please let me know. I'm all ears. And so anyway, again, Switcher, Filmic, Movie Pro, I'd love to see somebody else taking the reins on this. It can be done, it works, and I'm going to use it as is in July in a conference for $25 if I have to. Thanks. Have a good day and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.